Okay, now it's time to do a network discovery installation. There's two basic ways to do installation of network discovery. You can just do the what I would call maybe the easy installation, where you just kind of go next, right through all the installs, and it just does its thing. You can also do an advanced install where you're choosing, do you want the hub, an IT sensor, OT sensor, which components do you want, that type of thing. That type of install we're going to do on another video. So right now, what we're going to do is just a basic easy install. But before we get started, what I want to do is come out to the community and let's look at some of the requirements here. Though we've already talked about some of these requirements, I think this is just another better or a good place to look at. Community.lansweeper.com. I'm going to type in network discovery requirements. You can see that listed there and come to this site. In here, you can see the URLs that are necessary in order to configure your firewall to be able to communicate up to the cloud. Emphasize here that we have two, we have a US and an EU type of URL gateway. This is going to give you access to a specific region. So if you are only in the US and if you're only using the US hosting, then you would just need the US hosting one. Same thing for the EU. Just use that one for this. Port 443, of course. You can see here some description of what these are used for. The download.lansweeper.com is going to be used for downloading the new versions and so forth. So you have a little bit of description. What I want to address here is I think the most important is going to be the requirements, the system requirements. So this is a high level. We're going to go in more detail into what does it mean for all these other columns and so forth. But for this basic install of a hub with sensors all on one server, I'm going to look over here at this recommended for the sensor. The reason for the sensor is the sensor is going to do a lot of the working. It's going to have a lot of it's got the sensor doing a lot of the activity has got a little bit more compute that's been assigned to it than a basic level of a hub by itself. So we're looking at a dual core, 4 gigs of RAM, these kinds of specs here. I feel like that this is a good place to start. Otherwise, you can get into a lot of the confusing, there we go, configurations that might require unique configurations that really we're going to be addressing in another topic, another video. So let's also consider the firewall and the firewall routing requirements again. Again, we're talking about WMI, SMB, SSH, SNMP, and HTTPS. These are the really core components. Yes, like the video we have shown already about the ports that are used and by Lansweeper, those important ones, it has a huge list. These, though, are going to be probably the most vital just because they're going to be the most common. So at WMI for the Windows, the SSH, the SMB, NetBIOS is going to be for both the Windows machines as well as Active Directory, SNMP for ports and, switches, firewalls, so forth. You get it. The other thing I want to talk about real briefly here is something about the operating systems. So let's jump right into creating an account in Lansweeper. It's going to ask us about downloading for a specific operating system. And at that point, we can address some of the challenges of what type of operating system you should be using and the challenges around that. So let's get into creating an account. So what you're going to do is navigate to app.lansweeper.com. And in there, you'll be able to register to create an account. What you're doing is creating an account on the Lansweeper site, and that's going to give you access into the community. It's going to give you access into the academy where you can do some education, and it's also going to be a place where you can create your Lansweeper site itself. So once you get in there, you're going to want to use a legitimate email address because it's going to ask you to validate that email. Otherwise, it's something like 5 days, 7 days, it's going to actually disable that. So you need to be able to validate your email address when you create that. So after you go through the creation process, what you're going to see is this screen right here. And it's going to, you have a couple things here I really want to point out. You have 2 different areas of hosting, both Europe, which is going to be based in Ireland, and in the East, US East in Ohio. Since I'm in the United States, I'm going to put mine in the United States. Some people have regulations on where you're allowed or not allowed to host your cloud-based platforms or data. So you have a couple choices here. For creating a site, this is kind of up to you on how you want to make this named. Some people use an abbreviation of their company, maybe a company dash, a physical site name or a street address or something, that maybe would associate it. In the end, ultimately, I would really recommend only using a single site, because all of the information will be gathered and aggregated together from all of your sites and all of your installations, all of your physical sites into this one Lansweeper site. And the importance around that is primarily the impact of creating extra dashboards, creating extra views. If you have more than one Lansweeper site, what ends up happening is you create a custom view, you really like that, you want to use it for maybe another Lansweeper site that might be associated to European region, then you have to recreate that in that other Lansweeper site. So it is really best to create a single site, but it is up to you a little bit on how to do that. Just realize some of the limitations and challenges around that. If you were to create two separate sites and you decided that you later wanted to merge them, that is possible, but you may lose some of those configurations. Because remember, if you're going to move it from this site to this site, the configuration items that you've configured over here in this particular Lansweeper site, you're going to have to recreate those over here. Again, it's just a lot of extra legwork, a lot of extra work. So I really recommend going after one site. For my certification that we're working on here, I'm going to call this Cert 2026, just for the name. You can see here that it's going to create a custom URL. If you create something here that maybe you don't like and you want to rename it later, what you have here is what you get. So renaming a site is not possible. You'll have to create a brand new site and go through, like we said, that whole process all over again. So of modifying and creating all your credentials and scan targets and so forth. So you really want to get this right the first time. So I'm going to create one called Cert 2026. Tell it to create that site and give it a moment here to create that. And the next screen that's going to pop up then is going to give me access to download. Here's where I want to talk a little bit about the type of operating system. So in my test here that we're going to demonstrate today, we're going to download the Windows-based version. So let me just get that going here. So once this has been downloaded, we're going to just kick it off and get it started. But to discuss this first, we have a couple different Linux operating systems as well as a Mac. The challenge we have here is the limitation of a Linux and a Mac operating system accessing the deep WMI and so forth of a Windows machine. That is by default a limitation of the operating systems communicating together. This is not a Lansweeper limitation, it's an operating system limitation. So Linux devices will not be able to do a deep scan, at least at this time, of Windows assets. So I would use those Linux operating systems that you're deploying Lansweeper onto to scan Linux, Windows, firewall switches, routers, things like that. And then you could use your Windows one for your Windows assets. Of course, your Windows assets, Windows operating system can also scan all of the other firewalls and everything else as well. It can scan the Linux. It has no issues there. But if you really want to have that segmentation or that separation, you can do that. Realize, I need to kind of emphasize this here. If you have more than one installation, we talked about this earlier, more than one installation is going to be either that hub, that hub, or in the classic version, that database is what's deciding what a full version of an installation is. You can have as many, I'll put this in air quotes, as many as you want of the sensors and scanners. That hub is the key here for the licensing. So that said, let me go into my downloads here and let's get this install going here. Let's see, I've got the same version. Tested this a few times. There we go. And we're just going to go through this installation process. I'm going to shrink the. Actually, I'm going to leave this web page open. And you're going to see why here in just a moment. Go next. I agree to the licensing and terms. You can of course change the directly where you like it to be. In this situation here, we can install the hub and IT sensor. This is by default. If you decide to have, and I want to have the OT sensor as well. So I'm going to add that into here. Later on, we're going to have some videos coming up soon that you'll be able to customize this. So we'll talk about customizing and having a single hub, a single IT sensor, single OT sensor, and then how do we configure those installations with these fields beneath. But by just out the installation process here, we're just going to leave these the way they are. Hit next. This is the Npcap. This is the component of Lansweeper that is used for the network visibility or asset radar. So without this, it's not going to be able to discover that. If you choose no here, it's not going to be able to discover those components. It's not going to be able to use that component of Lansweeper. But the challenge will be is inside of your Lansweeper logs, you may see a bunch of errors that Npcap is missing, that type of thing. So I like to leave this here, especially if your security or your system administration, their policies allow you to have Npcap on there. I would leave that there. Just if you decide not to use that feature of Lansweeper, you can turn it off in the platform, and it just doesn't use this component. But I would recommend leaving this as a yes and leave that there. And here is where we have where we're going to go to link it and sync it to the Lansweeper site. Let me do a quick timeout real fast here, and let's talk about just if you decide you don't want to connect to the cloud and push all your data up to the cloud. I'm going to show you in just a moment here what the hub by itself looks like. So that sensor can communicate, do all of its scanning, do all of its things, and then write that information to that database cache we talked about earlier that is located on the hub. And the hub then will display some very basic information. I'll show you what that looks like in just a few minutes. But for right now, what we're going to do is I'm going to come back here to my web page. I'm going to get that linking code it's asking me about and copy my linking code. And realize this linking code here, if this linking code gets leaked someplace, this linking code directly communicates to your site. So you seeing my linking code here only means that if you decide to use this, your assets would be in my site. So this is proprietary or a unique code for your specific site. So let me come back here, and I'm going to paste this in here. There we go. And I can skip this linking installation like we talked about a moment ago. I'll show you that in just a minute. Hit next. It's going to verify and validate that that is all in there. And thus begins the installation process. Let me just pause this video while this finishes up, and then we'll go from there. Actually, I'm not going to pause. I'm going to let this thing run, and let me switch over while this is installing. Let me show you actually my other network discovery installation. I have this installation that has already been completed. It is syncing with my Lansweeper site right now, but let's just assume that it's not. What do the results look like inside of the hub? So again, remember that hub is connected to and has connected to it that database cache. Again, it's not something you can back up or even really reference. It's just I think it's SQLite. It's something that is just there purely to be a cache before the data is written to the cloud. So that cache can be queried here, and I'm going to use the discovery results. You can see here on the discovery results, my Npcap is out of date. I do this intentionally to be able to demonstrate this. So you can see when Npcap does need to be updated, you can see that inside the platform. This hub has very limited configuration capabilities. So you can do a one-time discover now. You can see the things that are in the queue that are being scanned right now and the discovery results. These discovery results can have duplicates, and I don't think off the top here I've got some duplicates, but imagine for just a moment you're scanning IPs, you're scanning Active Directory, and you're scanning with maybe SCCM. Those particular three things are all scanned with your sensor. That is then brought into the hub, and the hub then sees three different items that were discovered. One is IP, Active Directory, and SCCM. So with those three things that have been discovered, you will see all three of those results inside here. Maybe credentials are bad on the IP address, and it will tell you here that it doesn't have any other information. But Active Directory, maybe the credentials are correct, and you'll have more thorough information. So you'll see those results here. And then if you were to connect this to the cloud, that would all be reconciled together under a single asset and pushed up to the cloud. So let's see what it would look like. Let me scroll down here. Sorry to make you a little dizzy as I scroll. There we go. Let me grab just one of these assets. This asset has been discovered. This is the basic information. Looks like I've got a little mini HP desktop here. It's got the operating system, some basic information about it. Again, this is all JSON specific. You can export this information out. You can see the scan details. If I wanted to expand this out, you can see more information as I expand out some of these things. If you want to show this all in plain text, you can. Then it gets a little bit more messy, but you get the point. It's all information is here, but it's not real friendly to navigate. And that's where the Lansweeper platform really comes in. It takes and converts all this stuff into usable and more queryable information. But your data is here. So if this is something to help you just to assess what's going on, what is Lansweeper finding in a scan, you can see that here in the hub. Let's jump back over to my other installation. Let's see how we're doing. So we are ready to complete. It's asking me if I want to go over to my Lansweeper site. I'm going to turn that off because I'm already at the site. So I'm going to say finish and close my code there because I've already got that. And if I go back to my dashboard, I will start seeing some activity will start coming in here. So let's take this here. I'm going to just shrink this website down. You can see that Network Discovery has been installed on this machine. So if I was to open up Network Discovery on this computer, it's going to ask me for a username and password. But that's something I must not have done something right. Let's try that again. Isn't it always fun to do things when they're live, right? Try it again. There we go. So you can see that I've got two sensors that are connected. Remember, I did the IT and the OT sensor. We can see which sensors those are. If I click the sensor item here, we can see what they are. You can see the name of the machine that they're attached to if it was a different machine. We can do a discovery now in here and go through which sensor do we want to use to discover, the IT sensor or an OT sensor. We can see the discovery queue if things are running right now and any discovery results like we discussed a minute ago. It is actually, look at this, it's actually in the process of discovering things that are on the network that my server is sitting on. So you can see these results are here. As these are being scanned and being completed, that discovery queue, let me see if this might take a second for it to propagate all the results that it's finding right now. There we go. We can see what's actually scanning. We've got, the host itself is doing a deep scan. But this information will be pushed up to our site here. There we go. And eventually we'll start seeing this being brought into our site. That, I think, concludes the installation process. Let's go into a little bit where we can start breaking down a hub installation and a sensor installation and look at those in more detail of how do we do those, why would we want to do them separate, and a little bit more advanced configuration items.